Morning, everybody. It is Cowboy. What's up? And we are now here on what is this? Wednesday, Thursday? Hold on. Thursday the 9th. So it's been a heck of a couple of weeks for me here. So apologies for not knowing what day it is. It's a real good sign. We're taking a look at something a little bit different today. You're taking a look at the liquidity chart for Bitcoin. So I wanted to start here because just a little bit of a warning. You have to know how to use this chart. Okay. This is a good indication of where price might go next, but there are some conditions besides looking at this. So just because you see liquidity or liquidations at a certain level doesn't mean price is about to go there. It's just a little bit of a fair warning. But this is over at kingfisher.io. I do have a link in the description if you want to go take a look at Kingfisher. It's a great website. And basically, what this does is it tells you where the liquidations are on the derivatives exchanges. And just so you understand, the volume on the derivatives exchanges is massive. Okay. So a lot of the time, price won't move until the leverage here is wiped out. And this is leverage basically, right? These green spikes are where people's trades liquidate on, in this case, on Binance. I can get a readout for all the different exchanges, but it's almost always the same across exchanges. And you can see here that there's a lot of liquidity sitting at 96,000, 96,800, and 98,000. So you can really go from 96,000 to 98,000. You can go back onto your chart here and you can map out where this is. Now, it doesn't mean price is about to go there. It means that under certain conditions, price will go there. And we teach how that works at Algo Factory. And it's actually a pretty reliable, relatively reliable kind of a combo. But just because it's, those liquidations are there, it doesn't mean price will go there. But a lot of times, and here's just a clue, but again, it's not 100% here. And in fact, there's more to it than what I'm about to say. But when you have a pretty well established support where price has sort of bounced numerous times, like in this particular case right here at say 90,000 or even 93,000, back to 90, back to 93, here at about 92, right there at 90,000. 600. When you see price in this kind of zone, which many would call it a demand zone, price could easily bounce right here. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to take off all the way up top side, but it means if it does bounce, and it very well could, then you might see price kind of pull one of these and grab this liquidity. Now, what happens after that will be a little more discernible with the algos, right? And that also relies on those liquidations, staying on the chart, meaning that those trades have to stay on the exchanges. Brad, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming on, saying hello from down under. So at any rate, there's a decent possibility the price is going to bounce at about 91,000-ish, right? It could be lower, could be like 90, could be a little lower than that. But as long as those liquidations stay on the chart, as long as those shorts, those are people's short trades with stop losses way up here, betting on the price heading down, right? Then that's a good place for price to come back up to and clear out the leverage. So as it stands, though, there's not a lot of liquidity below, right? There's not a lot of reason from a liquidity standpoint for price to head down. Okay, so I do not believe we have seen the top. It's possible. I did have a thesis as to why 100,000 might be the top. It really went to 108. There was a conversation about that with regard to the big money being in and not wanting it to go too far. And that's possible that 108 was the top. But I have a couple of metrics that I'm looking at, and none of them have been met as far as is the top in. Right. So just understand that I haven't seen what I need to see to be confident that the top is in, but that could ping at any time. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that I usually look at has sort of happened. It hasn't happened, completely, but let's go to Saturday. So I might leave this here for the moment. I'm going to dot line it though, because the algos haven't called for this yet. So I'm just going to dot line that for now. Well, I'm actually going to do this. I think we're going to see price kind of plow down a little further, and it might be even quicker than what I drew. and we're going to leave that solid because that's, going to happen over the next day or so, I think. And then price might bounce up from here. If it doesn't, it's probably going to go down to about 88,000. So those are the two possible moves on Bitcoin. Might nuke down to 88 and even down to 83,000. Those are the lower areas, right? So again, price rejected at this 103,000 area and just really piled on down. And this could be as simple as the market makers wanting to bring the boat back to clear out the leverage. A lot of moon boys were really convinced this would happen. It was my primary thesis at the time. One thing about breakouts is that they happen when they happen, and there's a lot of fake out breakouts. So this breakout was realistic, but a lot of people got faked out. I did not long this. I didn't actually trade this because the algos at the time, I wanted to see, and as you remember during the show when I drew this on Sunday, I said I do not long, or I think I typed it on Twitter or whatever. I don't jump into ceilings. I don't long at resistances, right? I would have waited for price to break out above 103,000 resistance because that's a clear resistance here from these prior rejections. So I didn't go long on that. I didn't lose any money on that per se. Of course, the spot bags took a hit, but spot bags are spot bags, right? We don't sell those until the time comes. And so that said, if it had broken 103 convincingly and the algos were good with it, I might have longed it, but I didn't do that. We didn't see what we needed to see. And of course, price went ahead and made its way down. And now we're going to see whether or not it can hold at about 91,000-ish or if it's going to break down. So that's the look at Bitcoin for the moment. And that's just fine. Is Solana holding up pretty well? I mean, it's doing what every other crypto is doing right now. So instead of going up with Bitcoin, it is going down, and it's going down a little more, with a little more volatility than Bitcoin as it usually does. So that's the look at Solana. I know a lot of eyes are on Ripple, so we'll take a brief look at that. Ripple is holding up a little bit better than a lot of these coins right now, but in the end, it is still staying in kind of a bearish formation after its big move up. And, Ripple, yeah, sure, it could go to whatever. It could go as high as it can go, but Ripple is very difficult to predict from a trading standpoint. It really doesn't cooperate with a lot of the trading, TA or things like that. It's not one that I would try to trade. It's one that I really actively avoid trading for that reason. Ripple's just one of those ones that if you believe in the project, you buy it, you hold it. If it breaks out, you look at the levels and you try to play those. And I ended up selling a little below this. I think I sold at about like, I don't know. I took a position here towards the bottom of this area and I sold it a little bit higher. So I made a little bit of money on it, once it kind of got to the top here. But, that's about that. This doesn't look good to me. So, and that's fine. That's how things go. Take a brief look at the indices before we get too far. This one is hanging out. It's kind of not bouncing as soon as I thought, and it may not bounce. We're going to take another look at it just to see. I left my old prediction that was like a couple of weeks old. So this prediction really played out nicely, and I didn't change it. I'm like, okay, let's just see how this plays out. It looks like it will bounce. It looks like it's just going to take longer to do so. And FOMC minutes might have kind of fouled things up a little bit yesterday. We had the data come out for FOMC yesterday, and I know that the actual press conference for FOMC was hawkish, which means strong dollar, bearish markets, and it looks like there's a little bit more of that going on. But we have a little bit of a clue here that the powers that be may not want to let price fall because price wanted to fall. Let me see, yesterday, right after the minutes. So, like in the next couple hours after the minutes, price wanted to fall for the next like 9 hours or so, 10 hours. And it was held up right here. You see those strong tails right there. So it may be that the plunge protection team is holding this and doesn't want it to go below 5,900. We'll see about that. And it's probably going to be reflected in the Dow as well. Yes, certainly reflected in the Dow. The Dow just doing what I said it would do, and the NASDAQ in the same. NASDAQ's being held up with a very similar type of price action. So, and of course, NASDAQ doing what I thought it would do. So, got a couple of predictions that are doing pretty well. Others not so much, but that's trading, right? And again, I didn't lose money on the Bitcoin prediction because it didn't break the resistance. I didn't have a chance to go long by my rules. So thank you all for watching. We're going to head over to the private live lab with Algo Factory. Now, these predictions are darn accurate. Anytime you can predict where price is going to go. Anytime you can do that, you can extract money from these markets. So if you want to know how this is done, and if you want to know how to take advantage of good predictions and avoid getting into, forecasts that don't help you, if you want to know all these things, come on over to algofactory.tech. We teach people how to do that. We teach people how to also treat their trading like a business, and we teach trading psychology. And that's 3 separate concepts. Without one of those, without any of those, a trader will probably fail. I've never seen a trader be successful without understanding those 3 things, and all of them, all 3 of them. So come on over, algofactory.tech, learn to trade like a hedge fund pro, and never ever forget,
join us